It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. Comprehensive cutting-edge care giving you every reason to choose Hayes Med. United Rentals. Your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. VTI. Your John Deere dealer. With locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. VTI. Our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Royal Roofing. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. And Eagle. Our community connected. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And welcome in once again to another installment of Tiger Talk. We'll talk some football with head coach Chris Brown after the Tigers' thrilling 13-10 overtime victory at Yager Stadium on a rainy Saturday in Topeka. Tigers now 5-4 overall. They moved to 4-3 in the MIAA. One final home game coming up this Saturday. It'll be Central Missouri in town for a 1 o'clock kick. It'll also be Senior Day. We'll talk about the seniors a little bit later on in the program. Military Appreciation Day, a lot going on. It's the Hall of Fame game on Saturday. In fact, if you want to attend the induction ceremony, that'll take place at 9 a.m. Saturday morning in the Memorial Union. You can still get your tickets. Contact the Fort Hays State Athletic Department. And if you want to attend Hall of Fame ceremonies, they'll be introduced at halftime of the football game. But we'll talk some Fort Hays State football here today. Recap that thrilling win over Washburn. Preview the Mules for Saturday, the final home game of the season. Again, we'd love to hear from you. We've had a few questions sent into us over the weekend. You can still do it and get on the program. All you have to do is go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You get that drop-down menu there in the lower right corner. It says Tiger Talk Ask the Coach. Submit your question. If we use it, you'll have a chance to win a Mix 103.3 t-shirt. And we really appreciate the questions. We've had some good ones come in throughout the football season. Keep them coming. We've got several we'll get to a little bit later on in the program. But, yeah, thriller on Saturday. Tigers win in overtime, and why not? It's 4 days Washburn. It seems like they always come down to the very, very end. And we are joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Chris Brown. And congratulations. Obviously closer than you liked it to be. First half, especially offensively, was not pretty. But you guys figured it out at halftime and found a way to get it to overtime. And then Michael Pauley, who will be our player guest here today, kicks the game winner, the emergency kicker. Just a little bit of everything in that one on Saturday.
Yeah, there was. Defensively, offensively, special teams-wise. And the weather tends to do a lot of things as well that kind of hold you back a little bit offensively and and defensively too, just the way you slip and slide. And they say turf doesn't slip and slide, but it still does.
It did Saturday.
It did on Saturday. But no, we found a way to win that ball game. Kids battled, they scrapped till the very, very end, and no guy stepped up when needed. Had a lot of new offensive linemen that stepped into the game for us and got their feet wet and just tried to figure it out through that first half. And then the second half they played a lot better. So, yeah, we got better. Got still some few things to work on, but we just got to kind of figure out what these kids can do and what they're able to do and go win some more ball games.
What was the locker room like? What did you have to get fiery? How did you approach that? Because obviously it was frustrating first half because offensively just struggled to do anything, and the defense was keeping you in it, limiting them to the 10 points.
It's just, a little fiery. I would say. Here and there.
Maybe I should ask Michael about that when he comes up later.
You can ask him. But there's times too, and times not. Right, you fire it first, and then you kind of bring it back together and talk about things, and that's what we had to do is just kind of regroup and rebuild. He went out and stretched, after halftime and kind of gathered them back up and said, "Listen, it's on you. We got these seniors got about 10 more quarters left of football, and what are we going to do about it? And how are we going to send these guys out?" And our kids really stepped up and did the things they needed to do to win that ball game.
The interception by Gavin Hazelhorst was big. Defensive end drops back in coverage, and they had the ball. They're up 10. They had obviously all the momentum coming off their big win over Central Missouri, and were playing well. That you could just feel the energy shift after that interception, and you turned it into a touchdown. That was big to open up that third quarter.
Just needed something, right? And we created a few turnovers, early in the game as well, and so did we offensively, which kind of hurt us and put us in some bad situations defensively. But that was huge. We needed somebody at that moment to step up and make a play for us. And Coach Harris made a great call. Guys got the pressure on the quarterback. He dropped exactly where he needed to drop to, and quarterback threw it right to him. Wish he would have scored.
That was a nice return.
It was a nice return, but I wish he would have scored. We always got to make fun of those guys for getting caught from behind, but he did a good job. He did exactly what we asked him to do. Kid's athletic. He's fast. He can catch the ball. That's the kind of defensive end that you want.
Yeah, he did a great job. The Tigers go on to score, eventually get it tied, and win it in overtime. You mentioned the rain, especially in the first half. It was a pretty steady rain, kind of intermittent in that second half, but you had an idea going in it was going to be a wet day. Did that affect the game plan at all going into that contest, knowing the weather probably was going to be a factor?
Yeah, it does. With just more of throwing the ball than anything else is what it affects more than anything. But we do the wet ball drill, right? Every time we practice, you just get a water bottle, spray the ball, get it all wet, and get your quarterbacks and running backs used to playing in the rain. And then you also spray it on their hands and on their arms and all those different things, so they get acclimated to it. So we knew it was going to affect it a little bit. We had to find some things that during the game, at halftime of what we're going to do offensively to try to get some points on the board, and that was incorporated Caleb a little bit more in the run game.
I was going to ask you about that. Was that designed to have him run as much as he did? 117 yards, 20 carries. He led you in rushing. He was your top ball carrier. Was that designed going in, or is it one of those situations as the game unfolded, that was what was available to you guys?
Yeah, we talked about it, the whole entire week of getting him more involved, with those type of things, and because I really think that's who he is and what he's about. He's a tough kid, get the hard yards, and he's physical as well. So just utilize him to the best of his abilities and let him go make plays.
He made some really big runs. Obviously, he gets the touchdown run to get you guys on the board when the seas just kind of parted for him. But he had a couple of big plays on third down that I'm not sure were designed to be runs, but that's what was available, and he made a quick decision. So he had a path to get that first down to extend some drives.
Yeah, a couple of them called. A couple of them just freelancing and doing his thing. If it's not there, he just goes and scrambles and makes things happen. The one in overtime is probably the one I'm most disappointed about. All we had to do is make one block, and we get that extra first down, and not make Paulie's kick so far. But he was probably hoping for that too as well. But he nailed it through it. But yeah, we just got to find things that our guys can do. With the depleted line that we have right now and the kids that are playing, they're young, inexperienced, and we just got to get them better and get them ready and get them feeling more comfortable with what we're doing. And sometimes you try to do too much, whether it's offense or defense, and even on special teams, we try to do too much. People look at my punt team and say we're doing too much, but we're really not doing as much as people think we are. But we got to start simplifying some things and just letting our kids play fast.
I was going to ask you about the offensive line. Zaya Matos gets his first career start at left tackle, then he goes down with an ankle injury. Avery Coleman, who's played one game this year, he got thrust into duty. Dylan Rock goes down. You have Mason Hogan step up from Plainville. You had a bunch of youngsters in there. How do you feel they fared when they got their number called in what was a very obviously tight game and the game into balance?
As they progressed along through the game and got more comfortable, you can just see they just finally started playing football and quit worrying about everything else. And they did some good things. They're going to be really good players for us here in the future. That future needs to be this week, of course, with these guys. And Coach Bolden will find a way to get those guys ready to play and get them focused, locked in, and feeling comfortable and being confident in themselves.
You ran for over 200 yards in this one as a team, and we all know that your record is pretty good. It's like now 46-5, I think, when you've gone for over 200, 29 straight. Caleb had a big hand in that. Curtis Douglas fumbled twice. not good, but he found a way to move past that, and he had a couple of big runs down the stretch in that ball game for you. Good to see him bounce back after some adversity in that one.
It was. I mean, it's you got to put him back in, right? If you don't, you never know what he's going to do and how he's going to respond. And he responded the right way. Took it on the chin and just said, you know what, I got to go. I got to fix this. And he did. He had some really nice runs there in the second half to get us some first downs and get us in good position to go score points.
I'm sure it was an interesting game for him because his Kent State teammate, Kai Thomas, was the Washburn running back, the Topeka native. Kind of rare in a game you see that, two D1 guys from the same school, but I'm sure they had a bit of a rivalry going in that thing on Saturday as well.
Oh, yeah, because I think they were competing for the same spot
right.
at Kent State as well, and they both ended up playing against each other, so that's pretty cool to see. I've known Kai for a long time when he was at, I think it was Topeka High.
Yeah, one of the most prolific running backs in Kansas history.
Yeah, and we recruited him as well, and I think he ended up going to Minnesota.
Right, Minnesota, KU, and then eventually, he's worked his way around.
So, it was good. It was good to see, and I'm sure they had a good, talk after the game and had, kind of, look back at the past and where they're both at now.
Well, we'll talk more about the game, talk more about the defense. We haven't gotten into that. They played really, really well on Saturday. Tigers win it in overtime, 13-10 over the Washburn Ichabods. Tiger Talk presented by Golden Belt Bank. It's banking one story at a time. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We will take a time out. More Tiger Talk next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
We had a guy that came into the bank. His dream was to own a restaurant. He was turned down from multiple banks, and upon coming in here, having a prior knowledge of who he was, we reviewed his business plan, we talked to him, and we felt strongly that we wanted to join him in this adventure. Ever since we joined with him, he has been very, very successful. It's just really nice to be able to be a part of somebody's dreams. Golden Belt Bank, one story at a time.
Thomas, the running back, right of Logan Madden. Shotgun snap. Madden throws it, intercepted. Gavin Hazelhorse picks it off. He's at the 40 to the 35 and down to the Washburn 31-yard line. First interception of the game for Washburn. Their fourth turnover. Gavin Hazelhorse intercepts it in the defensive end. And Fort Hays State has the ball deep in Washburn territory. That was an interception we were talking about. First career pick for Gavin Hazelhorse. He's broken up 5 passes in his career, but that's the first one he was able to intercept, and it set up Fort Hays State's first touchdown Saturday in that third quarter. Welcome back to Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network. A reminder to sync up our radio broadcast with the MIAA Network's video feed. It's pretty simple, actually. If you don't already have the TuneIn app, download that to your phone. That's where you'll listen. Search for Mix 103.3. You can listen to the game on game day. It's generally a little bit ahead of the video stream. If it's behind, just pause whichever is first right at the opening kickoff or after a big play like that. Let the second device catch up, and you can sync the radio play-by-play while watching on the MIAA Network. Tigers 13-10 overtime winners over the Washburn Ichabods Saturday at Yeager Stadium at Moore Bowl. A rainy day, and it felt like a football day, a good day to play some defense. And it was 10-0 at halftime, but you had to be thrilled with your defense really all game long. That first score came after an interception. They had the ball, I think, at the 20-yard line, the short field. Those guys played lights out all day long, and as the game kept progressing, and you can see it was going to come down to the wire, it seemed like they made big play after big play.
Yeah, they did. I mean, there's still some things in there that we got to get cleaned up. Still feel like our angles were a little bit bad, in tackling. Missed a few, easy tackles I thought we should have had in the backfield, but we did. They played pretty well. As coaches, we're just never happy.
That's okay.
That's just kind of the way we
all
are.
Expect that.
But no, we did some good things. Even though after the turnover, we'd rather have them kick a field goal and score that touchdown, and gave up a couple of big run plays again, which isn't like us. Like the Northwest game, we gave up a ton of them. This one we gave up a couple, and we just got to start eliminating those things defensively.
We mentioned Kai Thomas earlier, a teammate at Kent State with your Curtis Douglas. He's shifty. I mean, you can see he ran for over 7,700 yards in high school. I think 95 touchdowns. I mean, you talk about Kansas high school running backs. He's right there on the top of the list with everybody. Not a big guy, but he can be elusive, and it took a while to to adjust to him. He had a big game. I think he finished with 95 yards, but most of that came in the first half. You guys really did a much better job of corralling him after halftime.
It's just, getting off blocks, staying in your gaps, not overrunning things, sealing the edge. Just some things that we had to, adjust, during the game and make work for us, change our alignment with our defense a little bit. And, our guys do a good job of adjusting pretty well, defensively. So that's what we did, slow down things just a little bit with the back end and where they're going to fit in and make tackles. And we were able to kind of start shutting that thing down.
One guy who stands out, Shadron Blanco, the St. Francis transfer, seemed like that second and third quarter especially, he was in on everything. He was flying all over the place making plays.
He was making a lot of plays, and it was good to see him finally, step into that role. We knew it was always kind of in there, so hopefully this is kind of his breakout game, and this is the guy we keep seeing from here on out, because he made some nice tackles, all over the field, not just, up the middle, but he was getting to the sidelines, making some plays, and, did well in pass coverage as well. So, proud of him, man. He really stepped up and did a good job for us.
Well, it gives you a little more depth at that linebacker position. Gavin Myers has been there. Obviously, John Johnson, you know what you're going to get from him, and he was, as usual, a big-time presence, but just gives you a little bit more depth there, which is what you're always looking for.
You have to, right? And it's just, being able to rotate guys in and keep guys fresh. And when you only have two guys playing, it's kind of hard to do that. So, being able to add another guy to the rotation is going to give those guys some rest and get them off the field and keep you healthy as well. So that's what we try to do in the back end too, with the secondary and things like that, just to kind of keep guys fresh. And our D-line does it all the time.
Yeah.
And Coach Hickel has, tons of guys down in there that can play for us. So we've got to continue to, getting guys better each week and improving each week and doing their job and start playing like that.
Talk about the back end a little bit, because it felt like as that game went on that you had some guys step up and make some big tackles in some key situations to keep them from getting first downs.
It's losing Jackson hurt, but Koa filled into that spot. Bashu came in and Delco played for us as well when Paulie was getting his leg ready to kick. So all those different things. I mean, just it's good to see guys step up when their number's called, and they did make some good plays and some big plays. This was a couple there towards the end. When they were kind of driving, we had a chance to get a pick on the ball and we didn't. But those things happen, and the more reps those kids get in games, the better they're going to be.
Now we're going to talk with Michael Paulie here in just a little bit. He's our player guest today, but just talk about that. Obviously David was out again, and then Zane goes down on the kickoff, I'm assuming. It's one of those, we look back and, you lose track of the kicker and he's down, and then obviously he wasn't coming back. What goes through your mind right there when you're down to your emergency kicker at that point?
No, I've seen Paulie kick in practice, right? And he knows where he can kick from and where he can't kick from, and so do we as coaches, and you adjust, to your guys. And, Zane it's unfortunate, just the weather itself and as many kicks as he was doing and the field goals and all that stuff just kind of came down on his leg wrong and pulled his hamstring a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be back this week. Maybe he won't. But it was pretty bad during the game. So those things tend to flare up pretty big early, and then they calm down quite a bit. So we'll see how it happens. If not, we'll have Mr. Paulie over there ready to go.
Well, usually you think you got two kickers, that's going to get you through a year most times, but sometimes you need that emergency guy. And fortunate to have someone who obviously is a regular starter for you on defense, but has had that kicking ability kind of in your back pocket, knowing, you never want to go to the emergency guy, but knowing you have him if you need to.
Yeah, we do. And he kicks every day in practice for us during special teams and things like that. So had him prepared. We got Logan Russell too, who can do some PATs and things like that as well. Maybe we'll get David back this week. We'll see. But yeah, it's always good to have that guy in your back pocket and a guy you can count on, a guy that's going to go out there and compete and get the job done.
Well, Logan had a good day. Had a couple big punts when you're pinned deep to kind of shift the field a little bit, where if he doesn't hit it just right, that could have been some momentum change.
Yeah, he did. He had some really good ones. I'm surprised, Washington bring more pressure with the way the weather was. They pretty much played, punt safe the entire day. So, it allows him a little bit more time, doesn't put as much pressure on him as well. So he was able to get some good punts off for us. And our coverage was really good as well. So that's the big thing. And getting that early early turnover kind of made that guy fair catch more often than anything.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, how much that played into it after he muffed that first one. Tigers win it in overtime, 13-10 over the Ichabods in Topeka Saturday. Tiger Talk presented by United Rentals of Hayes, your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. Whether it's big or small, find it all at United Rentals in Hayes. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we will bring in one of the heroes from Saturday, Michael. We're going to call him Kicker Michael Polly. He'll be joining us next as Tiger Talk continues here along the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
At BTI, we pride ourselves on providing quality John Deere equipment and customer support. Since 1944, BTI has been serving farmers and commercial operators with mowers, tractors, and compact construction equipment at an affordable price. As a leader in the ag industry, BTI offers complete technology solutions so our farmers can help keep America running. Experience the BTI difference for yourself.
Call on BTI.
Our family in partnership with your family.
And with Zane Hall injured, Michael Polly is going to attempt a 34-yard field goal to try to win this game in overtime. He's normally a defensive back. The emergency kicker, snap down. There's the hold. There's the kick from Polly. It is up. He knocked it through. He made it. Michael Polly, the third-string kicker, with a field goal of 32 yards, and Fort Hays State beats Washburn in overtime.
Yeah, quite an ending in overtime. Michael Polly, the game winner, 34-yard field goal. Tigers win it 13-10. Hey, look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop. There you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and the cool thing, they're all customizable. Get your name on the back. You can mix and match the different design prints. You'll find it all, FHSUathletics.com. Then click on Shop. Open up the Tiger Team Store. Look your best on Tiger Game Day. We are joined by Michael Polly, Bishop Carroll product. Officially, I guess, a safety, a bandit back, if you want to get detailed with how Fort Hays State labels it. But one of the guys in the back end, thrust into kicking duty. Congratulations. That had to be a pretty cool moment for you to come in a situation like that, game on the line, and kick the game-winning field goal. What was going through your mind? One, when Zane went down, and then two, kind of feeling that it might turn to that in overtime.
Yeah, I was ready. I saw Zane go down. I was kind of nodding at the coach and smiling. I was like, it's my time. Just kind of always knew I was ready. But even once kind of like that fourth quarter came, I kind of had a feeling that it might have came down to a game-winning field goal. So it's kind of just getting ready. And, everyone was saying I was nervous, but I was just pacing just because I was ready to go.
Well, and been to practice enough, have seen you kick. So obviously it wasn't just plucking somebody and trying to figure out who can kick. You obviously must have done that in high school. And rumor has it, that wasn't your first game-winning kick. You did one at Bishop Carroll in a playoff game?
Yes, sir. Our first playoff game against Hutch, overtime. It was kind of like an extra point, so it really wasn't that hard, but I was ready for it.
So this was old hat. I mean, It's like, been there, done that. We got this. But I mean, and then obviously when it's still different. I mean, I know you practice it, but in a game situation, especially with the game on the line, it's got to be a different feel. And then, I mean, you have all the elements. That's been a wet day, even though it wasn't raining as much at the time. But the hold, the snap, all those things have to be perfect, and they all were. It all worked well.
Yeah, they were. Holder made a great hold. After the kick, I was telling everyone, great job, and after watching it back, Wyatt Specksarth made a hell of a hold, and it was awesome.
And just a great win. I know after the game we had a chance to catch up with you, and just the significance of that win. The offense struggled in the first half. Things weren't going well, but to turn that around, figure out a way to get to overtime and win that game. What's that mean for this team?
Man, it was huge, especially just, how are we going to, make this season? Are we going to go 7-4? Or are we going to go 4-7? And, it's for the seniors. We love those guys, and, get that win gives us a lot of confidence. Go win at home and beat UCM, then go beat Emporia. So.
As we said, you're a bandit back, one of the safeties on the squad by trade, and emergency kicker when needed. Just talk about that a little bit. It feels like that back end, that had a lot of inexperience. You got obviously thrust into it last year a little bit, so you're able to get some game real game time experience. It feels like every week you guys just get a little bit better. How do you think the back end has progressed as we now get toward the backstretch of the season?
Yeah, we're definitely getting more comfortable with each other. We get better every day at practice, especially with Jackson going down. He was kind of our guy to, always look to. And even as a Bandit, Jackson's always the one making the calls, so I know I can just look back and see what he's got to say for each formation, all that kind of stuff. So with Koa going in, throughout the game there was a little bit of uncertainty, but I have his back. I'm helping him with the formations and make sure his calls are right. So.
Yeah, and people probably don't realize that. I mean, obviously on offense you have your quarterback. A lot of times the center kind of leads the offensive line, gets him the right thing, and usually it's a safety on the back end just to make sure you're in the right alignment. How much of a challenge was that this week to adjust to someone new having to do that with Jackson out with the injury?
Yeah, it was definitely a little different. Definitely took some more talking out of me and Mike, our other Bandit, but as long as we're all on the same page, we'll be fine. And I trust everyone on the defense, especially in the safety room, and we got it done. So
visiting with Michael Pauley, Bishop Carroll product, kicked the game-winning field goal, the emergency kicker Saturday. Also a Tiger, a Bandit back for Fort Hays State. You've had a few big moments this year. You had a big interception earlier in the season. You get the game-winning field goal. You've kind of had a nose for big plays. Talk about that interception. I know it was a long time ago, back earlier this season, but had to be one of the highlights so far for you.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was thankful I caught it. Don't have the greatest hands on the team, but once I caught it, I kind of knew I was gone. I'm fast, so I have some experience in the past in high school, returning kicks, all that stuff. So I was confident.
First pick six for Fort Hays State since 2018, so it hadn't happened in a while. It was a cool moment against Nebraska Kearney. Talk about this season. I know it's probably been frustrating in a way. A lot of high expectations coming in. It hasn't quite panned out that way. Some tough losses, and it wasn't looking good Saturday. But the team rallies to find a way to win. But just talk about how you handle that maybe frustration from what you were. I mean, obviously everybody had the playoffs in mind. That's not going to happen now. But how you deal with that and keep going forward because you still want to finish this thing strong.
Yeah, it's definitely a little frustrating. Coming into the season, I was expecting us to be phenomenal, and some games we just didn't play up to our level, and it is frustrating. But at the end of the day, we've gone through spring practices, all that stuff with these guys, and you're never going to give up on them. You love these guys. You're always going to compete for them, and that's just kind of something we stress on, especially after that Northwest loss. It's like, what kind of team are we going to be? So it's really just how much do we love the guys next to us.
Visiting with Michael Pauley, Fort Hays State defensive back and emergency kicker. You were a walk-on out of Bishop Carroll. Just talk about that journey and how you ended up being a Fort Hays State Tiger.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to play collegiate sport of some sort. I always loved football the most, and I had an opportunity at Tabor, but I didn't really fully want to go there, and I came up on a visit with my buddy and up to Fort Hays and loved the coaching staff, loved everything about it. Didn't come up with my parents at all, so I went back home, talked to them a little bit, and then called Coach Harrison next week and was like, hey, I want to come, and loved it ever since. It's amazing up here.
Well, in today's age of college football, you're kind of a rarity. I mean, you've stuck this thing out. You walked on and kind of earned your keep. Didn't play a whole lot early. Finally got some minutes last year. Got on the field a little bit. Earned a starting job this year. You've had an integral role in that defense. I'm sure at times it gets frustrating. It's not always easy, but you've kind of just stuck with the process and kept getting better, and now you're finally reaping the rewards for all of that.
Yeah, for me, I'm blessed to get on the field anyway, especially as a walk-on, getting on special teams, I loved it. So I always just work hard, and, coaches see that and translates to the field. So.
Well, it was a nice win. Of course, Bishop Carroll, I mean, you've played in some high quality. You mentioned an overtime win over Hutch. You're certainly familiar with big-time high school football and those big games because you played a lot of those, I'm sure, at Bishop Carroll.
Yeah. They're big games every year, especially that junior year, the COVID year. We played a bunch of different teams like Lawrence and Bishop Miege, all that sort of stuff, and then Caping every year.
Right, that's
crazy.
A big one.
So
the Holy War, yeah.
So those games are always get you ready for these big moments.
And did you play for Coach Trail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I remember when he played at Fort Hays. He's a little older than me, and he was a stud in high school at Osborne High School too. Yeah, I was a young pup from Victoria, but went against him when they were really good. All right, visiting with Michael Pauley. We're going to take a quick pause here for identification. When we come back, it's the much anticipated question Ask the coach. Coach Chris Bree's already shaking his head. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network.
Kaiser Liquor, with 2 convenient locations on East 27th and North Hall in Hayes. Tiger Radio, Mix 103.3, KJLS, Hayes.
It's Tiger Talk. We've got Michael Pauly with us. Kicked the game-winning field goal on Saturday to beat Washburn in overtime. And every time we have a player on, we always end it with Ask the Coach, their chance to ask Coach Brown anything that they've been wanting to maybe throughout their time here at Fort Hays State. Michael, the floor is yours. What do you want to ask Coach Brown?
You do have, meetings and all that stuff today. Just don't forget about all those things.
I got a good one for you. So my question will be, at what point in your coaching career, what was the first point of your coaching career that you realized, you're getting a little bit old?
It's probably about,
I love it,
5 or 6 years ago. Hunter and I always pray, like and Hayden as well. Somebody took a picture, and my head was so bald that I realized I was starting to get up there. And then there's one at Northwest, too, and we won the championship there at Northwest. Hunter came up, hugging me, and I was kind of holding him. And then, I was wearing my visor at that time, and I was like, man, I'm just blinding people right now. I got to start putting a full hat on and all that stuff. But I don't think I'm that old, am I?
A little bit.
A little bit. Starting to get there. So
you're younger than me, so no, you're not old enough, Coach.
Not at all. But
I thought it would have been last year when you decided to run on the early practice and pulled your hammy. I thought maybe that would have been a good sign that wasn't the smartest move.
They tried to get me to do that a couple times this year, and I've
learned from your
I said, no, not doing that again, because that took a while to heal from.
That was black and blue for a while.
It was. But I'm starting to get up there, but I try not to act that old.
As you get older, obviously it's a young man's game. You're dealing with 18 to 22, 23, 24-year-olds. How is that real? I know you love your guys, but as you get older, does it get harder to relate to some of these players? How do you do that? Because when you're in your 30s, I'm sure it's a lot easier.
You just talk to them, right? Communicate with them and try to get to know them. I don't quite use the lingo that they use. I'm not too up to date. Sometimes they'll talk like I don't even know what that means. And so it's just trying to figure those things out and asking questions and just trying to keep relating to them and just letting them know that I'm going to be there for them any time that they need me there. So that's the biggest thing, is just building that relationship with them, getting to know them and where they're from, what they're about, and who they are. And that's just kind of what it's about. I love these guys more than anything, and I'll do anything for them as well.
All right. Well, good question, Michael. That was good stuff. Coach is not that old, though. He's not that old. Your perspective will change in about 30 years. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI, your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Michael, appreciate you joining us today. Again, congratulations. Bask in the moment, but let's get ready and go find a way to beat those mules on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Michael Pauly, our player guest here on Tiger Talk. We'll take another break. Coach Brown joins us when we return on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Looking for unique flavor at low prices? Look no further than Taco Shop in Hayes. We have original, made-from-scratch Mexican food, sure to satisfy an empty stomach. Take a bite out of these delicious deals. Grab a beef or cheese enchilada, bite into a beef and bean burrito, or chow down on a Sancho. Save time with our free Taco Shop app. Have delicious fresh taste in just a few taps. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Taco Shop. You've never had it so good.
Come on down to the taco shop. You never had it. You never had it so good. To the taco shop.
Quarterback keep by Heavner, runs up the middle, it's a touchdown! Fort Hays State's first trip inside the Farm Implement Supply red zone is 6. A 17-yard touchdown run from Caleb Heavner. And the Tigers are on the board, down 10-6.
Yeah, first touchdown of the day only touchdown of the day for Fort Hays State, run by Heavner. Technically, they say 18 yards, but he gets it into the end zone. Tigers win it in overtime, 13-10 Saturday. Tiger Talk presented by the Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, and delivery. They're just east of the Fort Hays State campus on 8th Street. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Fun to visit with Michael Pauly, obviously the hero on Saturday, and it's always fun to see him. But but we asked him about it. Walked on, and in this day and age of college sports, you don't get a play right away. Sometimes people are looking to move and they bounce around. We see that guys going to 4, 5, 6, 7 schools, whatever it is. He did his time. He got better. I'm sure there was some discouragement along the way, but he's kind of reaping the rewards of that right now. Starter on the back end of the defense, and then, hey, you never know when you're going to get thrust into duty, and he comes in and is your emergency kicker and gets the game winner. That's quite a story.
It is. He's awesome. I mean, he got here, worked his tail off, and just weight room guy. He's just a team guy. Great personality, good energy. I mean, everything you want in your player. Great student as well, and you can just tell he really cares about his teammates and everything that he does, and end up getting himself a scholarship and all that stuff just because of his work ethic and the things that he does. He got himself on all the special teams. I think his redshirt freshman year, and now he's in his role of he's starting for us, and he put himself in that position because he worked his tail off and did everything we asked him to do, and he earned it.
Well, I'm sure you'll find out this week about the status of both of your kickers. Should you have to use him, how does that affect his play on the back end of the defense, knowing that he may be your kicker as well?
It kind of makes you nervous, right? Because, as physical as we try to play and those things, how much does he play? And, what do you allow him to do? And but he's going to have to play. We're kind of in that mode right now that, you have to play. We have to go for 2 points, and we have to go for 2 points, right? But I think Logan can do it as well.
Right.
He hasn't done it as much in practice as Paulie has, so we could just give him some more reps this week in practice, and work with him on PATs and maybe some shorter field goals and things like that. But we got guys out there. We might just have a kickoff, here on Tuesday to see who can kick before practice and see who else we got on the team that can do it.
Well, certainly, hopefully that one of the two kickers is able to come back, but kind of rare. I can't remember the last time you had two guys hurt like this to where they're unable to go. You've had two kickers before, but never where they both have gone down.
No, you haven't, and those things usually don't happen that often. But right now we're kind of in that situation. Maybe I need to go talk to our soccer coaches to see if they got a couple guys that
they're having a great year.
That can kick as well.
He may not want to give you anybody.
Yeah, he probably would. So to see if they could kick or not, but we'll find a way to get it done. It stinks, but it's part of the game. You look across the board, a number of guys that we've lost, this year to injuries, and but it's a physical game. You're going to war every single week, and you're going to lose guys here and there. You just got to find ways to make things work and hope for the best.
We touched on the offensive line. I was going to ask you about some of these new faces that started Saturday, and then they go down, which is unfortunate. They get their moment, and that's the way it's kind of worked this year. Big week of practice for some of these young guys, because we've kind of talked about it before. Sometimes you play and you're just thrust into it and you just go. And now you got a whole week to get ready, and you got maybe more things to think about. How important for some of these guys is this week going to be as they might get thrust into a starting role for the first time in their career?
It's going to be huge for them. They're going to have to really, really, truly prepare. But we tell our kids all the time, you never know, when you're going to be in the game, and so you have to prepare as a starter. And they're going to have to do that this week. Other guys are going to have to step in those spots and do it as well. And it comes down to the film preparation, getting with the older guys and talking through things and making sure they know who the ID is, and knowing where the double teams are at, and all those different things, and who has to come off in certain situations. And and just the amount of blitzes too that teams bring, and the twists and things like that. That's hard to pick up quite a bit, but we do enough against each other in practice. I think those young guys will be prepared and be ready. And I know Coach Bolden will have those guys ready to play.
And it helps to have a Brandon Kerr at center. It helps to have a Josh Shaw there on the left side and a Porter Danovic at the right tackle position. Three veterans. They've started a lot of games. They've seen about everything. It helps to have three guys like that to help bring these other ones along.
Yeah, it does. They're all smart. They all know the game very well. They're all very good offensive linemen too. They all play physical. Like the game that we want to play is the physical game. But they'll get those young guys ready. I can already see them meeting with these kids and kind of getting them prepared and go through some things with them. So they'll have those kids ready to go.
All right, Tigers and Central Missouri coming up this Saturday, 1 o'clock, first day game of the year at home, only day game of the year you're at home. It'll be senior day. We'll talk about that as well in the program. In fact, we're going to get to your questions coming up next here on the next segment. Need to remind you that Tiger Talk is brought to you by Royal Roofing, the #1 local roofing company. Roofing, guttering, siding, and windows. Call today for a free estimate. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. More Tiger Talk next. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Three wide receivers left side. They throw that way. It's batted down in the end zone by Tadarian Partee. He almost had a pick six. He bats it down. It's incomplete, and Washburn will have to punt.
And Tadarian's had a ton of big plays this year. That would have been the icing on the cake had he held on to that batted down pass for a pick six in the end zone to go along with his scoop and score and blocked extra point. He's Mr. Big Time on that defense. All right, it's time now to get to your questions before we take a look at Central Missouri and Senior Day. Coach, because of the House versus NCAA settlement, D1 football programs limited now to 105 student athletes on their roster. Is there a maximum number for Division II programs? And how many do you like to generally have in your program?
I think that's going to hurt D1s tremendously. I mean, it might help with the scholarships and things like that, but I mean, just roster size alone. I mean, 105 guys. I mean, you lose 10, and now you're down to 95, and how do you practice? I mean, sometimes you really rely on your scout teams, to do those things, and are you going to change? Like your two's going to come be your scouts or things like that, but. No, it's not going to affect us at all either. We can have as many as we possibly want to have. I remember one year we had 160 kids out there. That was a lot. Almost, it was way too many. It was just kind of hard to kind of keep them all together. But that was during the COVID time where we had the 6 classes and all that stuff. So we kind of cut it back now. We look to be between 125 and 130 when we start the season. And usually by the time the season's done, we're about down to 120. So with the new facility, we got 130 lockers in there. So that'll probably be about the max that we do. Maybe get up to 132, 133 at the max.
It's kind of it because you have your starters, you have your backups, you have your scout team. It's kind of you kind of have your development kids, the Fred shirts, the young guys who you're still working with to get them ready for when their time comes. It's almost like you have 2 or 3 different groups within a team itself.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the young guys come in and of course they all think they're ready to play right away, and then they realize pretty quick that they're not. And those kids get a lot of reps in practice, through the week. Just even though they're not running our offense and our defense, I mean, they're still going against our #1 offense or #1 defense or even our twos, as well. So they're getting reps. They're going against good competition, and that's where they can really get better and make a name for themselves if they get down there and get after it.
Another question, scholarship limit of 36 for Division II football for the entire program. To use the possibility of an academic scholarship for qualified athletes is something to lure them to sign with Fort Hays State. How do you go about managing all of that?
Just putting a total package together, athletic money, academic money, federal money as well, and just kind of seeing what the kid has. Do they have a Pell Grant? Do they not get a Pell Grant? And it's just trying to make it the most affordable that we possibly can, for them as well. The athletic part of it comes to, when do we think they're going to play? Need, of course, at positions determines how much we're going to give a kid as well. And do we think he's going to play early? Do we think he's going to play in a couple of years? And so that kind of, and sometimes we're wrong, right? We'll think he's going to be a kid that's going to play in 2 or 3 years. Well, actually becomes a kid that's playing right away. And once that happens, we'll start to bump up their scholarship as well. So they're not real big when they first come in, unless we really think they're going to be a starter for us pretty quick. But some of these kids with the Pell Grants and academic money, we get them pretty close to not paying a lot.
Well, it's a juggling act. It is amazing. There's so much goes into it when you're trying to juggle just 36 scholarships for, as you said, 130 on the team. A third question this week, and this is an interesting one. Does strength and conditioning coach Doug Boucher have any control or input on the nutrition of the athletes he's training? Does Student Food Service in student housing provide special meals for the athletes or football players?
There's nothing really special, at our level. The D1 levels, they have someone that actually just cooks all their food for the athletes, and each kid has probably a different meal plan as well. We don't have that accessibility. We don't have that number of people to do that as well. So, I mean, Coach Boucher talks about what they need to eat, how they need to eat, and the things they need to eat based on whether they're trying to gain weight, lose weight, all those different things. Nate Hepner, our trainer as well, puts a lot of things on a website that we have that our kids can go to and look at meal prepping and things like that. So, we talk to them as much as we possibly can. Just stay away from all the fast food restaurants and eat a lot of carbs and eat a lot of protein, and that's kind of what we tell our kids. And in the amount, right? We got kids that need to gain some weight. We really try to up their calorie intake, and the guys that we need to lose some weight, we need to reduce their calorie intake, which I probably need to reduce my calorie intake just a little bit. So, but no, there's no really set person that does that. It would be nice, but it's just kind of us telling them what they need to do, and it's kind of on their own to get those things done.
So the guys come in, the old linemen, they're not quite big enough, so then you give them a lot of calories to eat, and then you have to get them to bring it back down because they probably went overboard and now they're too heavy to play.
Yeah, maybe. We try to keep that fine line and then, just kind of losing some of that baby fat, right, and turning that stuff into muscle, and then, getting their weight off of that. But, yeah, some of them get up there too big, and then you got to bring them back down. So, we try to keep them around that 290 to, 310 mark and, be solid and strong.
All right, some good stuff. Appreciate the questions. Keep them coming in here for Coach Chris Brown. Again, go to FHSUathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You'll get that drop-down lower right corner. You'll see Tiger Talk. Ask the coach. Submit your question. Chance to win a Mix 103.3 T-shirt. Tiger Talk presented by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, offering the most comprehensive and advanced orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Why travel hours when the best in the region is right here at Hayes Med? We'll take our final break and preview the Mules of Central Missouri coming to town for Senior Day on Saturday afternoon. We'll do that next here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Tired of equipment that's seen better days? Or maybe you have a project that requires a bigger machine than you own. This is Blake from United Rentals in Hayes, and we have you covered. Whether you're a contractor, a farmer, or working on your own project, we've got the machinery you need. Big or small, and everything in between, you can rent it for a day, a week, or a month. And if you're looking to own, we have a huge inventory of reliable used equipment for sale. Plus, we can service and repair the equipment you already own. Stop by United Rentals on South Vine in Hayes. We're your one-stop shop for rentals, used equipment sales, and repairs.
Back to pass Madden. He's being chased. He is taken down. Bashu Delco brings him down for a gain of only 2. The Tigers get a big stop on 3rd down, and now they will call a timeout with 1:51 to go, and they're going to get the football back.
Yeah, another big play down the stretch in regulation on Saturday. Tigers beat Washburn in overtime, 13-10, back at home for their final home game of the season. Central Missouri comes to town, 1 o'clock kick. It is Senior Day. We'll start there. Senior class been through a lot. Obviously, this year has not maybe gone the way they've wanted, but always want to send those guys out with a victory and a chance to do that Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, they did. They've had some ups and downs and been through some hard times as well. But they also brought it back to where we are right now, and great season last year for them, and we still got 2 games this season to have another great season as well. So, but no, it's been a great group. Great leaders, do the things you ask them to do. A lot of them have been here for quite a while through the entire span of their career, so which is cool to see as well. And but no, I'm very proud of them. I hate to see them go, especially a good group like this, and then you get really close with these young men, and when they're here 4 or 5 years, it's hard to let them go.
Well, one thing that's never lacked is the effort, the want to, and all of those things. This team has from day one wanted to be successful. And by and large, they have been successful. And you still have a chance to finish 7-4. That is not a bad season. It kind of goes to the testament of where you've been and what the expectations are at Fort Hays State. But they still have a chance to go out with a really, really good season.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at the teams that we've played and the schedule the head coach put together with the non-con games, and you look at their law. I mean, you lost to Angelo and you lost to Northwest, you lost to Pitt, and I mean, all those teams are very good football teams, and you lost to UCO, who was a very good team as well. So it's just this conference, it's tough. I mean, every game you see in our conference are usually pretty close ball games, but I'm proud of this group. I mean, they fought and they battled, they scrapped, but they never ever quit. They're always, positive and then getting each other, picking each other up, and always being there for each other as well.
All right, Central Missouri. The Mules come to town Saturday afternoon. It's a 1 o'clock kick at Lewis Field. And, boy, you look at them, you always think about their high-flying, up-tempo, a lot of plays, a lot of receivers that get into the act. Just kind of from a defensive standpoint, this has got to be a nightmare of a week for you with what Central Missouri can do.
It is. It's like preparing for UCO. They were so fast tempo and different things. UCM, and then you got Emporia, who's kind of the same way. So it's just preparing like we did against UCO, trying to get as many reps as we possibly can in practice and fast tempo and getting our guys ready. I have to show them different, multiple things. You just can't stay in one thing or they'll destroy you because they're good at what they do. But got a great quarterback, got a great receiving core. O-linemen are big. The running backs are tough as well, and they've kind of incorporated their run a little bit more than they have in the past as well. So, it's going to be a tough task for our defense.
I was going to ask you about that because it looks like they're running the ball a little more, a little better. As you said, incorporated it more than just the pass-happy attack that they've been. That obviously gives you another element to be concerned with and have to be prepared for.
Yeah, it does. And, of course, they got another running quarterback as well, so a very
Seems
talented.
to be a trend.
Yeah, it's a very talented young man, but that incorporating that run game instead of just being in the pass all the time makes you you got to see things a little bit better and you got to read things a little bit better as well defensively. So we got to key on the O-line, see the mesh point. Just kind of be patient, and then when we see it develop, we got to get to our spots pretty quick. So it's going to be a good challenge for us, and our kids will be up for it. They love to play teams like this.
Well, they're going to make some plays. They're going to make some completions, but this seems like a game. They all are, but especially this one. Good tackling. The angles, we've talked about that a lot. Northwest game wasn't very good. Bad tackling, bad angles. You can't afford to do that with these guys because a simple slant pattern of 5 yards could end up being a touchdown.
It could. There's going to be a lot of open field tackles, a lot of one-on-one tackles this game. So, our kids are really going to work on that in practice this week, making sure they're taking the right angles and securing the tackle as well. So it'll be interesting. All right. We just have to do our job, do our assignment, and be physical when we get there and just make sure that we bring the guy down.
What does a win like Saturday do just emotionally for this group? Because obviously you don't win that game, who knows how the season finishes after what happened at Northwest. What does a win like that do you think, or can do for this group?
It boosts morale for sure, and confidence and all those things, and our kids believe in themselves and know that they can get the job done. But with this group, if we would have lost, I still think they're going to come to work every single day. They're going to do the things they can, to win every ball game if they possibly can. That's just because of the kind of kids that we have. But it definitely makes more positive, and now it's just as coaches we got to go into the film room today and make sure we correct some of these mistakes that we made in that game.
Should be a fun one. Central Missouri, the Mules come to town on Saturday. Day game at home. That'll be something different.
Yeah, it's different. Hopefully our crowd's the same, right?
It's been awesome
as the night
this
game.
year.
So
unbelievable.
Hopefully we can still get people there. 1 o'clock's are usually not as big, but hopefully this week, for our seniors and everything that's going on as well with the Hall of Fame game and all that's going into it, and just come out and support us. We appreciate it. These seniors need to go out on a good note, and just appreciate all our fans do, but come out and appreciate our seniors as well.
Sounds good, Coach. Appreciate the time. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks, Gerard.
Tigers and Mules, 1 o'clock kick. Busy week this week. We've got Tiger basketball tomorrow. Men at KU, 7 o'clock tip. We're on the air at 6:30. Wednesday, the women play KU, 6:30 tip. We're on the air at 6:05. And then, of course, the Tigers and the Mules Saturday afternoon. We're on the air with the Auto World pregame at noon. And it's also Hall of Fame Saturday. New members into the Tiger Sports Hall of Fame. If you want to go to the induction ceremony, gets underway at 9 a.m., contact the Fort Hays State Athletic Department for tickets. That's going to wrap up the program. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next Monday right here on Tiger Talk.